Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Max with BuzzTox, and I'm back with a Bran Stark predictions video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what I think is going to happen to Bran Stark in Game of Thrones Season 7, episode by episode. I just want to issue a quick spoiler warning for all of you guys out there, because I will be incorporating some elements from the plot leak that has been confirmed from Watchers on the Wall. And if you want to know everything that has been confirmed in Game of Thrones Season 7, check out this video where I break it down episode by episode on what you will see in the coming season. Now what I believe is that in this season it's going to touch on themes that have been addressed in Game of Thrones Season 6 with Bran's character. In the last season we saw Bran become the Three-Eyed Raven, and he used his power to watch over his family. We see him watching over Lyanna Stark on multiple occasions, and he goes to the Tower of Joy twice to figure out Jon Snow's true parentage. But the problem with this is that it is very one-sided. We only see the Stark point of view. So I believe that this season is going to focus on both sides of the love story. We're going to see Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. And we'll learn even more details on why Jon Snow is so significant. Bran has also struggled fighting off the Night King. He by accidentally came into contact with him and is now marked. And I believe in this season it's going to be pushed to the next level. Instead of Bran just knowing of the Night King and running away from him, Bran will actually have some sort of connection with him. And it will bring in new implications into the story. And I believe that we will start to see this in episode 1. That Bran is going to keep getting flashes to the Night King, because he is now connected to the Night King with his markings. And Bran will know that the Night King will always know where he is because of his marking, and that wherever Bran travels will allow the Night King to follow him. So in episode 1, Bran will be faced with a hard choice. Should he cross the wall and save himself from the Night King? Or should he sacrifice himself and stay on the other side of the wall, leaving the magical barrier up to prevent Whites and White Walkers from entering Westeros? But Bran will inevitably decide to go south. But not because of himself. He's going to go south because he knows that he is the key in helping defeating the White Walkers in the Long Night. So Bran will cross the wall, and that will put him in a panic to try and learn as much as possible before the Night King inevitably comes south. And while Bran is south, we're going to see him meet with Dolorous Edd, and they're going to share stories and what's going on. And Bran is going to tell Dolorous Edd that he should leave the wall as soon as possible because it won't last much longer. But Dolorous Edd will tell Bran that he's the Lord Commander of Castle Black, and that him and all of his crows are the Watchers on the Wall, and they will not leave their post. So after that scene, Bran will leave for Winterfell. And then I don't think we'll see Bran until episode 3. And in this episode, we're going to see Bran arrive at Winterfell. We're going to have another heartwarming scene between Sansa and Bran as he comes back to Winterfell. However, Sansa is going to tell Bran that Jon is not there because he left to treaty with Daenerys at Dragonstone. We're also going to see a scene between Bran and Sansa, and they're just going to be catching up. And I'm sure that Bran is going to tell Sansa that he does not want to rule in Jon's stead, and that his mission is being at that weirwood tree, uncovering the truth before the long night comes. And at this moment, he's going to send Meera Reed home to be with her family, because he believes that it is the safest place for her. But then Bran is going to get back to work, and he's going to go to the weirwood tree where his father used to sit. And we're going to see him flash back to the tourney of Harrenhal. We are going to see this tournament play out in multiple episodes, just like the Tower of Joy. And it's going to uncover the deeper meaning between Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark's relationship. And it all starts 20 years ago with Howland Reed, Meera and Jojen Reed's father. And the tourney of Harrenhal consists of tons of characters that we already know. Aerys Targaryen, also known as the Mad King, Rhaegar Targaryen, Oberyn Martell, Mace Tyrell, Lord Royce, Arthur Dayne, Barristan Selmy, Jaime Lannister, Robert Baratheon, and all of the Stark children, Ned, Brandon, Benjen, and Lyanna Stark. We're going to see Howland Reed be bullied by 3 squires, and these squires are from House Frey, Blunt, and Hay. And just in time, Lyanna Stark is going to come and chase away the squires, and bring Howland Reed back to her tent. And this is where we're going to see Meera Reed's father meet Brandon, Benjen, and Eddard Stark. And the family is going to invite Howland to eat with them at dinner. And at this dinner, Howland Reed is going to see that those 3 squires serve 3 knights, and they're from House Frey, Blunt, and Hay. And the Starks suggest that Howland Reed win back his honor by fighting in the tourney of Harrenhal against these knights. And while Howland is contemplating what to do, we see Rhaegar Targaryen. And it is in this scene where we're going to meet Rhaegar Targaryen. We're going to see who he truly is, because everyone has a perceived notion on who he was.
In my dreams, I kill him every night.
Yes, he chose her. And then he kidnapped her and raped her.
He was good.
He was very good. Viserys never told you.
He told me Rhaegar was good at killing people.
Rhaegar never liked killing. He loved singing.
And we're going to see that Rhaegar was actually a good guy. And we're going to see Rhaegar sing a really sad song using his harp. And Lyanna Stark is going to really emotionally resonate with that song. And we're going to see Rhaegar and Lyanna look at each other for the first time. But after dinner, we're going to see Howland Reed looking across the lake to the Isle of Faces. And he's going to be praying to the old gods for strength and helping him fight in the tourney of Harrenhal. And this is going to leave Bran debating on whether to answer Howland Reed's call. And that takes us to episode 4. And in episode 4, we're going to be treated to another reunion, because Arya Stark is going to arrive at Winterfell. We're going to see all the Stark children gather together and share a scene, which will be amazing, but other than that, we won't see Bran go back to the Weirwood Tree. But in episode 5, as Jon is at Dragonstone, Bran is going to be going back into the Weirwood to uncover his truth. And we're going to go back to the tourney of Harrenhal, and we're going to start by seeing a mystery knight. And this knight is going to be carrying a shield that has a weirwood tree on it. And this knight is called the Knight of the Laughing Tree. Nobody knows who this knight is, but it faces off against House Frey, Blunt, and Hay. And Bran will also help this mystery knight by kind of messing around with the tournament, possibly warging into the horses. But this mystery knight will eventually win, and promise these 3 knights from House Frey, Blunt, and Hay to give all of their stuff back if they punish the squires who made fun of Howland Reed. This results in the Mad King getting paranoid because he believes that this mystery knight is somehow his enemy. So he tells Rhaegar Targaryen to find the mystery knight. And then Rhaegar does go on to find the mystery knight. And that mystery knight is Lyanna Stark. And the pair hit it off, and we see them fall even more in love, and Rhaegar Targaryen covers for her. He takes her shield and brings it back to his father and says that he couldn't find the mystery knight, but he did find his shield. And this is what spawns the love that Rhaegar has for Lyanna. And Bran is going to play a small role in episode 6. This episode is going to be consumed by Jon Snow. He's going to be leading a team over the wall, and they're going to be fighting against the White Walkers. And this episode is going to be a lot like Battle of the Bastards. We're going to see the build up to the big action event, which is going to take place over the wall. And while we are with Jon, spending time with all of the characters as Jon is trying to capture a white, we're going to be going back and forth to Bran. And we are going to be seeing the most iconic moment at the tourney of Harrenhal. The moment where Rhaegar Targaryen chooses Lyanna Stark over his wife, Elia Martell, and giving her a crown of winter roses. And this scene will mean so much because this is confirmation that Rhaegar chose Lyanna and that their love is what created Jon. And it will 100% confirm Jon Snow's true parentage, both Rhaegar and Lyanna. And I believe that this scene is going to zoom in on this winter rose that Lyanna Stark is holding, and it's going to fade into another scene with Jon Snow over the wall with a winter rose possibly in the background. And it is in this really dramatic scene where we're going to be wondering if Jon is going to survive, where we see his creation and where he comes from. And then Bran completes the story in episode 7. He's going to return to the Weirwood and see Rhaegar and Lyanna running away together to the Tower of Joy. And we are going to learn what his true name was, and that is Aemon Targaryen. Jon is going to be named after the very man who taught Jon to kill the boy and let the man be born. And that's a man of discipline, self-assurance, and honor. And that Ned called him Jon after Jon Arryn to protect his identity. And after Bran makes his discovery, Sam is going to arrive in Winterfell. And him and Bran are going to exchange their knowledge and what they learned. Sam is going to talk about all the knowledge he gained in defeating the White Walkers, and Sam is going to tell Bran about the depths of history that isn't in any books. And then we will see Sam and Bran go together in the crypts of Winterfell. And it will be an interesting scene because it'll be the Three-Eyed Raven returning to the crypts of Winterfell. The Three-Eyed Raven that Bran always followed as a child was really himself when he was older, making the true realization that the true key in defeating the White Walkers is hidden in the crypts of Winterfell, and that's in Lyanna Stark's tomb. And when they open the tomb, they find Rhaegar Targaryen's harp amongst a bouquet of dead winter roses. And this will take us to the last scene of the whole season. And that is when Bran touches the Godswood in Winterfell. And instead of going where he wants to, he will be taken to the wall. He's going to be forced into a moment that he didn't want to be a part of, just like in Season 6 when he met the Night King. And this time he's going to meet the Night King again. I believe that Bran is going to appear at Castle Black at night, and he's going to stand there and watch the Night King and his army obliterate the Night's Watch. And we're going to be watching this happen through Bran's eyes. Bran could also see the Night King riding a potential dragon, as well as taking down the wall. And just before Bran leaves Castle Black, he'll lock eyes with the Night King, and then shut him out and return back to Winterfell. And that'll open us up with Game of Thrones Season 8. And I believe that starts the next chapter in Bran's journey. With the announcement that Game of Thrones is not going to spin off Robert's Rebellion because this series is going to touch on it immensely, I believe we're going to explore Robert's Rebellion even more in Game of Thrones Season 8. In Season 6, Bran followed his family, his side of Jon Snow's story. In Season 7, Bran's going to follow the tourney of Harrenhal, the story of how Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark fell in love. And in Season 8, we're going to see the ramifications in what birthed Azor Ahai. I believe that we're going to see Brandon Stark and Rickon Stark get murdered by the Mad King in the most brutal way possible. And we're also going to see Rhaegar Targaryen's death by Robert Baratheon. I think that this will show the dangers of Stark and Targaryens interacting, and it will really foreshadow the relationship between Jon Snow and Daenerys in Game of Thrones Season 8. It's about a hidden love in chaos, with differences of ideologies. And I think that that will lead Bran Stark closer to his mission, or his purpose in all of Game of Thrones, in connecting with his brother Jon Snow, who's actually going to end up being the savior, Azor Ahai. If you want to know why I think that, check out my video on Bran Stark's purpose in Game of Thrones. And let me know in the comment section down below if you agreed with my predictions or where you think I went wrong. But until then, I'll see you guys later.